Yeah, it's Expectosobotiratum.
Oh, the
And,
Australian.
like,
Oh, Australian species.
yeah,
And
one of
that
the
was
fairest.
my first. That was my first ever invertebrate pet. Can't say they lasted very long, but still.
Yeah,
All right. So,
Lichen too. They're like. I think they have to be raised under very specific conditions to come out looking like that.
yeah, they
They're
need.
usually. Well, I think they just need a giant of lichen or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Under usual conditions, they're brown.
yeah, they are pretty little things though.
Yeah.
Or,
Funny you should. I got a katydid species that's kind of sort of similar to that, called Frictus spinosa. Let's see if I can grab one. Now, they're normally herbivores, but I have sometimes had them chew on my hand. But yeah, this is Frictus spinosa. It's
oh,
a
those
very
are cool.
spiky
yeah,
species. It's still a nymph. It's not fully grown yet.
I really want to get into katydids.
Katydids are cool. I love them. It was really an out of nowhere thing. Katydids just, in fact, insects in general just didn't really interest me quite as much as the. Oh no, it's eating my hand.
I actually caught like a
You know what?
gnarly looking katydid. I have
You
no
know
idea
what
what
a
species
herbivore?
it was, but it was
You know
like
what a
big,
herbivore?
green, and aggressive as fuck, man. It was trying to kill
I
me.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the only katydids I keep at the moment are the herbivores because you can keep them communally. It's not like the predators, so there's the space saving, which
I, I'm
helps.
like, I like both, honestly. The predatory katydids are just cool because, like, come on, it's like a predatory.
Predators, yeah. The reason I don't keep predatory katydids is simply because I haven't been able to access any. It's not because of a preference thing. There's actually genus Terpandrus in Australia, really cool looking predatory katydids, and I know someone who has eggs from one at the moment. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think anyone keeps them. But you remember that katydid I showed you guys last time I was on?
Yeah, the one that jumped away and you had to like go catch it.
Yeah. Well, that I got a ton of eggs off those. They did unfortunately all die quite recently. I'd say a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, a ton of eggs. They should be starting to hatch. I've already got a lot of hatchlings from another katydid species, Acropisa.
Oh,
And
those are the like the black ones with the really cool display, right?
yeah, the black. Yeah, they got the red and blue colors under the wings.
Yeah, those
I've
are
got
all.
about maybe 20-ish babies at the moment.
Okay, did
And
you breed them yourself?
they were, yeah, those ones were gravid when they came. Well, when I caught them, because I caught them locally. The other ones, the Epipithecus, the green one that I had, they were also wild caught, but wild caught as nymphs, and they bred in captivity. And yeah, then the rest of the katydids I've got, they're currently too young to breed. They're all nymphs.
Okay.
Yeah. And katydids are really cool. Like insects didn't really interest me. It seems weird because I'm the guy who was at school always known for being into bugs, but insects just never tend to interest me much.
You know,
You
me
know,
too, honestly. I mean,
yeah,
you know, for the most part, I've really only been interested in predatory stuff, and even then, like
yeah,
certain predatory stuff.
yeah. Same, yeah, yeah. The
But
only herbivores I kept, well, like I said, those Extatosoma that Ben had, and I don't know. I interested in them, but they just never really captivated me. I never became obsessed, you would say, to the same extent as I was with, Centipedes and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know. Katydids really have me hooked now.
yeah. I think for me, you know, I never thought I'd admit this, but beetles are starting to catch my interest.
All right, well, join the club with Charles Darwin, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like fruit beetles. I'm more of a fan of stag beetles and rhino beetles.
Oh yeah. I've seen a couple of those in the wild myself, and barely ever.
Man, wait, I found a dead one and I taxidermied it. I can show you. So they're drying up right now, so they're all covered in pins. But
Oh, cool.
this one here,
Not a bad sign.
this one right here is
Yeah.
Dorcas parallelipipedus, one of the native European stag beetles. This here is just a cockchafer. Like
I've heard that. I've heard that name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing there's beetles interest me for sure. I think one thing that Yeah, beetles are definitely interesting to me. I just think there's one thing that puts me off actually keeping them is just the fact that the majority of their life is spent as a larva, a grub that's mostly underground.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm really not a fan of larvae, so my
Yeah.
plans for any future beetle keeping is like getting adults, breeding them, and then just selling the larvae.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Um, I might keep a few larvae for like a future generation, but I'm just not a fan of the larvae.
I'm sort of the kind of guy that I just have to breed everything I keep. Honestly, ever since I've gotten into inverts, it's like I can't just this is just my pet. It's just my pet. That's it.
Same.
I seem to feel like I have to breed everything.
Yeah, same. Like, I don't think there's been a single invert I've kept in the past 3 years that I haven't like, oh, I need to find a male or a female for this one.
Yeah. Oh no, big. Yeah, absolutely. I don't. Maybe it's to do with the fact that, especially in Australia, a lot of the stuff you get is wild caught. So there's kind of a
That makes sense.
yeah, and then there's the fact that, especially in the case of centipedes, a lot of the rarer forms you get might even be some of the first in the hobby. So it might be your one chance to actually get something established. Like, have you seen these Silver Valley rubber pets? They're like a light green one with yellow legs.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, that adult female is the only adult female in the hobby. There's another guy in Western Australia who's got a smaller, I think, like sub-adult of the same original collector. That I can't tell you how happy I was when I saw that she had eggs. I was expecting it though, because she came in. She was extremely fat when I got her, and it's like there was sort of the telltale. For me, one of the telltale signs for gravid centipede is when the weather starts warming up. Like it's early spring, they'll just start getting fatter and fatter regardless of feeding.
Right.
And I think
Have you had any centipede pairings recently?
I haven't paired centipedes in ages. No, I feel bad because people judge because there's so many videos on my YouTube of me separating baby centipedes and stuff, so people must think I'm some real experienced breeder. But every clutch I've ever had except one was from just a wild caught gravid female. One, yeah, Scolopendra morsitans is the only species I've ever paired.
Okay. Yeah, I did for like a very short period. I didn't have much time, so I tried pairing the Scolopendra cingulata.
Yeah,
it was unsuccessful, but it was really interesting how they interacted, like compared to the Dahani. Like the Dahani, they were very calm around each other, and like even when they ran into each other, they would just kind of like slowly walk away.
Yeah.
With the cingulata, like the second they got near each other and like their antenna touched the terminal legs, they freaked out. I mean, like they went.
That's like morsitans. Yeah, that was just like morsitans for me. They would freak out initially, but when they did calm down, they pretty much get straight into it. And then as for rubber pairs, every single attempted pairing I've done has ended up in one, like so clearly aggressive that there's no way in the world I'd put them together for any length of time. Rubber pairs are I'll just say, I remember a lot of guys on arachnid boards are telling me that all of the genus Ethmostigmus were docile centipedes. No, rubberapes are no.
I mean, they are technically old world centipedes.
Yeah. I mean, Ethmostigmus trigonopodus seems like a pretty chilled out centipede. Yeah. Ethmostigmus morai is basically harmless.
The trigonopodus seems to be the only really chilled out Ethmostigmus species. Like Rubberpes spinosus is pretty good, but like they've got a pretty significant bite from what I've read.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of sort of lesser known Ethmostigmus species in Australia, and judging by the look of them, none of them look like they'd be all that dangerous either. I've kept briefly Ethmostigmus morai, which seems to be a specialist termite predator, and it's basically harmless.
How did you even keep that thing if they eat termites?
I managed to feed it pre-killed cockroaches. It'd never eat live cockroaches, but it would eat pre-killed ones.
That's cool. I've never even heard of that species.
Yeah, well, there's barely any photos. I'll see if I can find a picture because the one I kept was a juvenile, and it unfortunately died when I ran out of feeders for a while. It was a stupid reason to lose a pet, but yeah.
Yeah.
But there was another guy in Australia who had a couple of adults. Yeah, that's one very weird looking centipede.
Whoa, that thing's awesome.
Hmm.
It's kind of Have you seen those? They're from India, not Hardwick Eye. They look very similar to that. They're very thick, fat, but don't have much legs and small head. And
I don't think I've seen that, to be honest. No.
I don't even. I remember seeing it in a centipede group, and I don't like the guy was asking for an ID. I don't think it ever got an ID. It was like very strange. I've never seen such a centipede.
There's another actually very cool. Well, here's another picture of Mura. They got a bit of color variation, nothing like rubber pairs, but some are more banded, some are a bit green.
That's really cool though. Those are cool looking.
There's another Australian ethmostigmus called Ethmostigmus pachysoma. It's again one of those small-headed types. One I presume wouldn't be all that dangerous.
That color reminds me of Scolopendra heros blotched.
The blotched, yeah, no, it's a desert species too, and apparently they come out. I've seen pictures. I've got to dig up the photo sometime, and they come out in massive numbers after rain.
You got to collect some.
Oh yeah, when I get my drivers, I can't tell you how many places in Australia I'll be. Speaking of, first place I got to head is up north Queensland, because that just seems to be the place for all the big rubberipes variants. Recently, a guy in Western Australia who at this point has a much more impressive centipede collection than I do. Like, I don't know where he gets this stuff. He got I think it's like the first in the hobby for that form. Let me just find the picture. It's like a big black coloured rubberipes.
Oh yeah, something like lava fields.
Yeah, that's it. Lava fields. That.
Yeah.
Kind of. You can't really see it in this picture, but the legs almost have a slightly darker tip to them.
That's cool.
Yeah, very thick too. It's 20 centimeters.
The only ethmostigma species I know are Trigonopodus and ruberipes. So
this thing has a 20 centimeters body length.
20 centimeters.
Yeah, big old rubberipes. That's and with the body that thick as well. That's a seriously formidable breed.
Yeah.
My biggest now is I think maybe 17.5 centimeters. It's I had a bigger one in the past, but she died, and I don't even think that was from old age either, because she had some weird infection.
Okay, that's quite a large centipede, though. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
I haven't yet seen a 20 centimeter centipede in the flesh, but it would be really impressive. Even like I said, my biggest one, 17.5 centimeters, or the 18.5 centimeter one I had before. That impressed me enough.
I've seen two 20 centimeter centipedes. One was my pregnant female Dahani that I paired.
Yeah.
She's actually with a friend of mine now, and she's looking like she's about to drop, so he's set her up to lay eggs.
Okay, yeah. Good luck with that.
She was 27 centimeters.
Well, like how? Vietnamese or?
Yeah, Vietnamese, yeah. Just a Vietnamese yellow leg.
At the moment, I only have 120 centimeter centipede. This one's pretty hard to find here, but I'm just going to use its bark to pick it up.
Oh, is it? Oh, I remember seeing that one on your YouTube.
Yeah. Scolopendra, Subspinipes, Sulawesi, piece of blood, whatever you want to call it. Right.
Yeah. That video that got a random amount of dislikes.
Yeah. Well, that was...
But my first, I thought you must have upset a bunch of Cody Peterson fans or something.
It wasn't... Oh, this one wasn't Coyote Peterson, but it was better. So someone made a video about Scolopendra robusta.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just said, "Look, man, it's Scolopendra."
It's a Galapagos, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Scolopendra Galapagos, and then they basically kicked off, saying, "I know what I keep. It's Scolopendra robusta. It's what was sold as." It was just.
Oh man, I remember the ordeal, man. I was like a part of it. Like, holy crap, those people kicked off. I mean, like, they freaked out. They like deleted their YouTube. They like started. And all Ben said, it was hilarious. All Ben said was, "Hey man, for future reference, it's Scolopendra Galapagos orange form."
Yeah, and I said I can message them. I said I'd message them to sort it out, and then they blocked me on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything.
If I'd been there for that, that would have made for a great reaction video on YouTube.
I would have been.
Yeah, my God. Yes, yeah. I'm still shocked at how well received those reaction videos are. They're one of my most popular videos.
They're good, yeah.
When I first posted one, I was kind of hesitant, because it's pretty different to my usual content. Not the sort of thing I usually post. I'm like, we'll see how people go. And I immediately felt, okay, got to do more of these. And it's satisfying too, because there's so much the misinformation on it's. I don't know about you, but when I watch it, I get angry. And when you read the comments, it's even worse because people just lap it up.
Yeah.
So it's satisfying, I think, to actually be out there and commenting it, even if you're a small channel not getting much views.
Yeah, it's like people want to be scared by these animals. It's not like
that's exactly it. They've always seemed to be a lot more likely to accept some sort of scary fact than to accept some true boring fact. You tell them funnel web spiders will run out and chase you all over the place, everyone will believe you without a question. You tell people funnel webs are blind, can't even tell where you are, and can't even climb out of a plate, and people are less likely to believe it.
Yeah, but I think it's also because it's a trend, it's trendy to hate these animals.
It feels you fit in, everyone's posting kill it with fire memes. I might get some likes if I post that comments. Yeah,
exactly.
I think, and of course, and I think pretty much everyone who's grown up loving bugs could relate to being considered a bit of a weirdo at some point in their school life.
A little bit. I mean, I was kind of considered the total weirdo. I was like,
yeah. I'd say I didn't really cop it quite as much as some other people, because especially by high school, people, if anything, more respected me for it. They just thought it was interesting that I was fascinated by that.
Yeah, middle school is where people were like, "Ew, you keep bugs."
Yeah, middle school is just it's where people seem to go through that cringe teenager phase. Initially they're little kids, and kids are fascinated by most things. Then they're going through that phase, whatever you want to call it. And then they start getting older. You can start calling them young men, and that's when they become a bit easier to talk to about it.
Definitely.
But yeah, the oldest I ever was when I was kind of annoyed about it was in year 10, because that was when there was one guy in my class who kept sending me photos of dead bugs. And I'm like, God, I feed cockroaches to my centipedes nearly every week. I know what a dead bug looks like.
Yeah.
He stopped doing that sort of thing when he told me, for a bit of backstory, the guy's overweight. Just remember that. It'll be important. And he just told me, today I went around the school and I stomped on every bug I could see. And I said, I was a waste of time. You would kill twice as many just by sitting down. And then he never actually had a go at me ever again.
Oh, that's hilarious. I remember in my middle school, I was kind of known as the bug guy. So whenever there was an animal or a bug where they didn't want that animal to be, they'd go to me to go remove it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was
me at school camp.
Go on.
At school camp, we'd usually leave our canoes out, and all these spiders would get stuck with them. And everyone would be calling me to go get the spiders out, always. So
yeah, I remember you would hear these little kids screaming my name running down the fields, there's a bee, we're gonna die.
Oh god, yeah, no. It's always funny watching people overreact. An animal that is not dangerous, and watching everyone else overreact to it like it's a venomous snake or something. Oh, it's hilarious.
I mean, even a venomous snake is not that big of a deal,
Yeah. If you see the snake, okay, yeah. Oh, there's a snake. I don't step on it. I go around it. It's like it's a hard thing.
I mean, knowing me, I'd probably try to pick it up, but
yeah. Well, I'm in Australia, so that's not a great idea. Though that being said, of all the snakes I've seen in Australia, maybe 10 or so, only one of them has been venomous. Oh, no, two.
Really want to find some wild taipans.
Yeah. The only two wild dangerous snakes I've ever seen was a red-bellied black snake and a death adder. Apart from that, every other wild snake I've seen has been either a carpet python, a green tree snake, which is the most common, or a keelback snake.
Wait, green tree python?
No, just a green tree. I don't even know why they call them green tree snakes, because they're usually a bluey-grey color. But they're colubrid snakes, very thin, very fast-moving, quite common. And yeah, they're harmless. I picked them up a few times. There was one I'd see them on occasion in my high school. And, yeah, I'd move them around.
Yeah, I'm like, I've always been like more reptile person than bug person.
Mm.
And yeah, man, it's such a dream to go to Australia and go look at like wild
Imagine. Yeah. I mean,
the goannas is something I
goannas are cool. I see them semi-regularly. They're not something I see all the time. But I mean, if you look at my naturalist observations, I still see them reasonably often, especially in the warmer times of the year.
What species do you find?
Varanus varius. It's always that species. It's the lace monitor, they call it.
Yeah. It's so funny, like you guys just like find them everywhere, but like if you try to like get one in the US, it's gonna cost like $7,000 to $10,000.
Jesus, yeah. I don't know many people actually keep them in Australia. I feel like those varanoid lizards, they seem like they're quite high maintenance, a lot of space.
No, they are. They need a lot of space, and I mean, I've kept a few large lizards, but like even then, nothing the size of a various.
Yeah.
But it takes like 2 hours a day.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I've kept reptiles in the past. Nothing too advanced. I've kept a blue tongue lizard. That was my first ever reptile, and a few snakes. That was it. The blue tongue was fine, but my God, they poo a lot. I couldn't go with that.
Yeah.
And then the snakes were easy enough, but I did eventually ended up giving away my snakes because my heating equipment broke just before winter was really starting to set in. And I was sort of in a hurry to get rid. I knew the snakes wouldn't really make it through, so I was sort of in a hurry to get them away. And the other thing was, even though reptiles are generally low maintenance pets, they're still, you got the electricity bills from all the heating equipment, and they're still a lot more high maintenance than inverts.
Definitely.
So I went from keeping the snake for quite a long time, most of my primary school years, I'd say. My pets were one snake, one centipede. That was my first centipede, a Scolopendron orsitans, and one scorpion. And once I gave the snake away, then it was just inverts from then on.
Do you have any non-Australian species? Like, because there are like some species that are available in Australia that are not from Australia.
No, I don't. I have, unless you count my feeder crickets, I don't. So,
that must be weird, man. Like, you're missing out on like so much.
I know. I know that on one hand, I'm missing out on a lot, but on the other hand, I feel like if I did have access to the overseas species, I feel like I'd just be keeping tarantulas like everyone else, and it would just be a bit more of a cliche thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I like tarantulas.
I'm going to say it. I'm sure someone's going to get mad at me. Tarantulas are boring.
I have one. I mean, look, I like the tarantula. It's a cool-looking spider, but I do think they're a bit overrated.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I have one tarantula. Maybe I might get another one later on, but I just can't see myself ever owning a lot of them like I do with centipedes.
Yeah, same. I mean, I've kept I don't know, 15 species of tarantulas in my life. And I mean, they're cool. They're fun to keep. They're fun to feed. But like,
it's a giant spider. Of course, it's going to be interesting to look at.
Yeah, of course. But it's just. I mean, they're just overrated. They're cool, but they're not like the best invert,
Yeah, I think the reason for their popularity is probably just because they've been kept for so much longer that they're just a lot more available. You walk into everyone's selling tarantulas. You're not seeing many people selling centipedes or whatever.
Yeah, but what I think I hate the tarantula hobby. Like, they're so narrow-minded. Like most people that I've met in the tarantula hobby, they're like, oh yeah, I keep 30 tarantulas. Ew, you have a centipede? Kill it. Like,
oh yeah. I hate the hip hop because these same people, I'll be like, oh, I'm sure if you keep tarantulas, you've probably gotten some comments about, oh, your pet's creepy, I'll kill it. Or I hate, I'm sure you've gotten those sort of comments if you own tarantulas. So you know how it feels. So don't say it to someone who has a pet you don't like.
Exactly. It's so stupid. It's like, it's like they think tarantulas are the only bug that can be kept as a pet.
And the only excuse for not wanting a centipede, other than them being kind of scared of it, is that it will escape. Like, it can't.
It's always,
it won't even climb smooth surfaces.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's what I always tell people who think funnel webs are scary. On a funnel web spider is a much easier spider to keep than a tarantula.
I actually would love to get some funnel webs soon.
They're not going to lie, they're a bit of a pet hole, but at least their webbing is actually really interesting if you set up their enclosure
I mean,
right.
It's kind of funny, but I really like trapdoors as well.
Yeah, I kind of draw the line at trapdoors. I don't want to go too heavy on the pet holes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, for me, I'll wait till it gets back.
No, I can hear you.
I say when it comes to big spiders, for me, I think huntsmen, they're my favorites for big spiders. If apart from their lifespans,
How long did they live?
Maybe 2 or 3 years or so.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, but it's reasonable.
I say any animal that lives 2 or 3 years is like the hell lifespan, because then you just start to get like fond of it, and then it dies.
That is definitely an issue. On the plus side, at least they breed quite quickly. This is my biggest huntsman. You've probably seen her in my videos.
I'm sure I have, but the Australian huntsmen are just so nice.
I love them, yeah.
What species are they?
This species is Typostola barbata, which is the biggest huntsman in Australia. Though there are others.
Huntsman in the world?
Sorry?
What's the biggest huntsman in the world?
Heteropoda maxima from Asia.
Oh, yeah. I remember a friend of mine almost got one.
So this is her, Typostola barbata.
God, that thing is awesome.
The Australian huntsman seems so much more docile than the ones we get in the hobby here.
I know. Well, I think it seems to be a heteropoda thing to be really bolty, because even in Australia, I've noticed that heteropoda are just way more prone to bolting than any other huntsman I've worked with.
Yeah, right.
And from my knowledge, most of the huntsmen available in the overseas hobby are heteropoda.
Yeah.
And then there's, I'm not sure what Baronestis scutatus is, but they're pretty fast as well.
Don't get me wrong, these are fast. When they want to be, they can really run, but they're generally quite relaxed.
Yeah.
I would really pay like $700 for that spider. Oh my god, so sexy.
Yeah. When it comes to Australian huntsmen, as I said, heteropoda are really. Oh, she just jumped off. I was complimenting her being calm, and there she goes.
Is there Australian heteropoda?
Oh yeah, we got heteropoda in Australia. Some pretty cool-looking ones too. I temporarily kept one that turned up in my bathroom. Literally the only spider that's come into my house apart from Daddy Longlegs. So I sort of kept that one for maybe a week or so, then I let it go. But the heteropoda in Australia, they're quite a variety of species, but they're all the sort of mottled brown color, pretty intricate patterning when you look closer. But they're, at least in my opinion, nowhere near as interesting as like Typostola, Berigama, Holconia, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love big, deep-bodied huntsmen. Heteropoda, they're kind of like the
really leggy.
Leggy.
My dream Australian huntsman is it's an undescribed species. It's just nicknamed the tiger huntsman. It's that one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
It kind of reminds me of a more colorful, less hairy heteropoda David Bowie.
It does. Yeah, no, that's cool. The males aren't quite as cool. Like here's a male-female pair. The male's on the top left. Kind of a brown-looking spider. And yeah, the females look amazing. Yeah, so there's only one dealer who sells those, and currently I think they've got a bunch of spiderlings that are growing. So hopefully they'll be available soon. I think huntsmen are pretty fast growers.
Yeah, pretty sure they are. Well, I think my favorite huntsman is Heteropoda lunalua.
Oh, and like the one that's like galaxy-looking colors almost.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
2 of my friends and Ben's friends just got like a pretty large numbers of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never bred huntsman. I had one surprise egg sac from one that I took home. So I think I blew on her when I was talking. I'll put my hand down. I took one home temporarily just to film her for some close-ups on my YouTube, but she ended up dropping a sack.
I remember that video.
Yeah. So But I wasn't really prepared for that at all. All of the feeders I had were too big for the babies to eat, so I ended up just releasing them where I caught the mother.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I'm looking for a male for this girl. I got another female of this species as well, slightly smaller, probably one molt behind, I'd say.
Right.
It's just,
Have you ever seen what's the species called? Ben, you'll know it. Not Varanus varius, but the other large varanid in Australia.
oh, I know the proper name, the common name is parenti.
The
But,
parenti.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest lizard in Australia.
Yeah.
No, they're right inland. They're in Central Australia. We're not going to be seeing them near the coast. So,
I'm going to search up the scientific name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
yeah, I don't like not knowing the scientific name. You know, if I have to tell someone a common name, I just don't like it.
It's Varanus giganteus, I think.
Varanus giganteus.
But yeah, they are.
Yeah, Varanus giganteus.
They remind me of. They've got like
Spider bat.
the body patterning of Varanus salvador, which is the Asian water monitor.
Really? I say they more similar.
Salvadori as well.
They more look like the Argus monitors.
Oh yeah, but then the head is completely different to any other monitor. Much. They are gorgeous animals, though.
I mean, yeah, the head is different than Argus monitors. The scientific for Argus monitors is Varanus panopeptus. Panoptus?
I'm not
Panoptus.
sure.
But those are also Australian, aren't they?
Okay.
Well, the name rings a bell. So,
These ones.
oh yeah, that's definitely Australian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yellow spotted monitor. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is the pattern on them. It reminds me more of the parenti than Varanus salvator.
Yeah, similar patterning to a parenti.
I love the neck on the parenti. It's just amazing. I think there's only 3 parenti in the US.
Okay. I don't actually know of anyone who keeps them in Australia. Maybe, yeah. But then again, like I'm not that big into the reptile hobby, so it's not like I have a whole bunch of contacts. It's not like with centipedes where I'm in contact with a whole lot of collectors and sellers and stuff.
Yeah. I only know of like one guy in Australia who has parentis, and he has like a large group of them. Like 1.3, I think.
Oh, cool.
You're talking about getting into insects again. Do you have any rejuvenate species in Australia?
Assassin. Yeah, we got those. I don't keep any, but there's a species called Pristasanchus plagipennis that I see around my area reasonably often.
Oh, cool. This is Cytella horrida.
Oh, I think the Dark Den has those, doesn't he? The Dark Den.
Yeah.
Wait.
This is a subadult.
Ben, is the P silent?
Cytella, yeah.
Holy crap! I thought it was Pustella.
I'm not. Yeah, I've embarrassed myself pronouncing scientific names, or not scientific names, just names in general wrong sometimes as well on YouTube.
I've been like for the past year, I've been pronouncing it Pustella horrida.
It's an awkward feeling when you've been pronouncing something a certain way, and then maybe I might chat with a scientist or something, and then I hear him say something like, "Shit, it sounds really different."
Right. I remember I used to say, like for pokies, I used to say Putzeltheria.
Oh, I still haven't settled on a way to pronounce that. The only time I've ever said the name on YouTube was in one of my response videos, and I said something like Piccolotheria or something.
I think how you say it is Piciotheria, right?
Piciotheria, yeah.
It's Poecilotheria, I think.
Poecilotheria, right?
Oh my God.
You're using a scientific name.
God, I freaking hate that name though. It's horrible.
Poecilotheria, whatever. Metallica was, when I was little, it was sort of my dream tarantula. This was before I knew that we could only keep natives in Australia. And that was sort of my dream tarantula. But initially, tarantulas were the invert that I wanted to get because I didn't really know much else. And, they were just the most popular one by far. And I was going through arachno boards and stuff, and I completely unaware that none of this really applied to Australia. And then, God, I was in for a big disappointment.
Yeah.
Luckily, there were centipedes to the rescue.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys remember the first scientific name you learned?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Wait, is that the scientific name?
Yeah, that's a scientific name.
Really?
What was other than Tyrannosaurus Rex, it would have to be Brachypelma homori, the Mexican red-knee tarantula.
Oh, yeah.
I think my first scientific name was Chromatopelma cyanopubescens.
Oh, the GBB.
Yeah.
I think, if you're talking about, because I definitely don't know about just random animals, I'd say the first hobby, or boa constrictor is another, because boa constrictor is a scientific name. But in terms of, invertebrate pets, the first scientific name I bothered knowing was probably Pandinus imperator, the emperor scorpion.
Yeah.
Really? It took me a while to learn.
Yeah, that was it. They were my scorpions are actually, after tarantulas, I'd say scorpions were probably my target invert pet, because I had a pet rainforest scorpion, one of my first predatory inverts.
Can you guys own Heterometrus? Like, is there Heterometrus in Australia?
No, we don't have. The closest we have to Heterometrus is the genus Urodacus, which are fairly close relatives.
I mean, not like native, but like, can you own them? Like, is there any in the hobby?
No, just again overseas species. Can't own them or emperors or any of that.
But so, isn't like I know in the US, we have some Australian species because they were imported like 20 years ago before the ban came upon.
Is that how they got into the US? Because I was wondering, because I've heard, I haven't been able to see when I look it up, but I've heard repeatedly that if you can captive breed them for 3 generations, they become legal to export. But I haven't been able to follow that through by looking it up.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case, no. But
I feel like if that was the case, then you'd see a lot more of things like mantids and katydids, stuff that breeds really quite quickly. A lot of generations go by. You'd see a lot more of those available overseas.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the US, like all the Argus monitors and all those things, like they were imported when it was legal to import them. Yeah. And then they were just bred like crazy, and now we have some good numbers.
I see, yeah, because I've noticed among inverts, there's like a handful of Australian species I see kept overseas. I think there's one tarantula, Phlogius crassipes. Then I think there's like one Australian huntsman. Then there's the red spider, and one of our mantis species, Hyrotula magiscula.
Oh yeah, I had a pair of those, and then obviously there's what's it called? Extatosoma tirata.
Oh yeah, the one we had, yeah.
And Phallocrognathus mulleri, the rainbow stag beetle.
Oh yeah, they're Australian. I forgot about that. Yeah, they're up North Queensland rainforests.
Yeah, but I mean, I know with like phasmid eggs, like people import those all the time because they're like
it's easier. They're more like seeds than eggs, really.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's literally how people do them is they put them in like seed packets and shit.
Yeah, they're very easy to smuggle for sure. I'm not even as soon as I started posting about katydids on my Instagram, I had a couple guys try to talk me into doing that. My policy is I just block anyone who asks me to do anything illegal. Yeah. If someone's just innocently asking, "Oh, do you have anything for sale?" and they'll say no, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was in a different country," that's fine. But if they keep trying to push it, they say, "Oh, you could still send it if you," I'll just block them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think like when it comes to like the U.S. Australian species, like there's still people like trying to get permits in Australia to export new things, but like it's just not happening.
Yeah, I would definitely love to. I would love to see some of the rubruckers where it's getting established overseas, even though they're some seriously nasty centipedes. But
I mean, I'm sure you'd also love to keep like Galapagos and Dahania.
Oh yeah, the South American giants. Oh, and Scolopendroheros. Even if I can just mess with Coyote Peterson, that is.
Yeah, I mean, like, how come like people aren't like brown boxing into those places?
People have, but they've been caught. Melbourne Museum actually has an exhibit of various tarantulas that have been caught by smoke. Like they have a brachypelma, they have I think a Lasiodora, they have a Pelanobius muticus.
It's so funny, dude. It's like those species cost like $2 for me as a sling.
I don't think even our native species are that cheap as a sling.
Yeah, well, like Lasiodora, they have massive egg sacs. Like,
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I think Lasiodora seems to be quite a kind of disliked species, or just a species people don't seem to care about.
Because they're just like so overratedly common.
yeah, because everyone breeds them, and then they realize they don't have enough space.
That's kind of why I'm put off by tarantulas in general, because tarantulas all have very large clutches compared to centipedes.
Yeah,
And centipedes have a lot of babies, but it's generally kind of manageable.
Yeah, like I had one egg sac from summer pair Sarminia, but yeah, that was quite a lot of eggs, and I just couldn't.
Just didn't hatch or something.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened though. I think something was wrong with the incubator.
Yeah. Centipede. The one thing with centipede breeding I dislike is just the tension. That period before the eggs hatch, when you're just worried about every little disturbance you make in the brood.
Yeah,
so true.
Yeah.
Well, like I haven't bred any centipedes. I haven't even tried to pair any yet. But sexing them always has me on edge. Like,
I just when I can, I molt sex them.
Yeah. Recently I sexed the Scolopendra subspinipes, and that one had me on edge because you hear horror stories of different locales of this species killing a 7-year-old in the Philippines. But
the Asian centipedes, just like Asia Pacific centipedes, they're just in a different league to all the rest, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of venom.
I mean, I've been bitten by Scolopendra dahani. Like it was bad. Like, you know, I mean, I've never had a bite as bad as that.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't as bad as everyone says. Like,
speaking of bites, I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't announced it on YouTube yet because I want it to be a bit more of a surprise. In a couple days, I'm going to film myself getting bitten by rubber hairs.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it'll be on YouTube because obviously it's not just filming, I've got to edit it as well, and one of my hands is probably going to be kind of useless after the bite for a bit. I still haven't decided which centipede to go with. I've got 3 that I want to choose from, my 3 biggest peds, and I don't know which. I'll tell you what my biggest fear is. It's not the pain of the bite because I've been bitten before. I know what it's like, and you know, if I was scared of the pain, I wouldn't be doing this. My fear is that the centipede will just grip onto me. And then it won't let go. That's my idea.
I've done 2 centipede bite reports, one on my dahani bite, and the other on Scolopendra polymorpha. But I've been bitten like probably over 50 times with Scolopendra polymorpha, and like it's like nothing, you know. It's like a little prick, little tingle, and it goes away in 30 minutes, you know.
From what I gather, when peds hold on, they're normally biting in, you know, a mistaken feeding response or something. If they're biting in a defensive manner, they tend to let go as soon as you loosen your grip or something.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard, and it makes sense to me. But I still can't just get away that fear of, you know, I've done the bite, but the centipede just clings on and keeps going because centipedes have a really strong grip. And
I've had a Scolopendra polymorpha bite my finger and actually eat me. Like, I actually I started bleeding because it ate my skin.
I've had katydids do that as well, but I've had a peedling rubberipes do that. It didn't actually. I don't think it even injected any venom. It just started chewing.
Yeah. I couldn't get it off of me because it like wrapped around my thumb.
Yeah, no, and centipedes are like they have an iron grip. My God.
Yeah, and like you can't just like pull them off, you know, because like you're scared.
Well, then you might just tick it off, and it might just, you know, actually inject venom. So
yeah,
but I'm always scared I'm gonna like break the centipede or some shit.
Yeah, especially when small ones are involved, they're delicate for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never full on injured a centipede by accident, but I have at one point caused one to lose both its terminal legs.
So, I've actually never had that happen to me. Luckily, oh my God. But
luckily it was a feeling, and now it's molted, and now it's got its legs back.
I did have a little bit of a disaster with a Scolopendra species white leg.
Oh yeah.
I got one. It was going good, and I sexed it, and it prolapsed, and the prolapse didn't go away.
Oh,
The centipede's
that's why.
the centipede's still alive now. It's with the friend that took my pregnant Dahani.
I think you were telling. Yeah, I think I saw you post about that on Facebook. When
Yeah,
I try my best to sex at every chance possible, I'll try to molt sex my centipedes. I don't.
yeah.
Otherwise, I really don't like sexing centipedes at all. I don't. It's the one part of the whole centipede keeping I really dislike.
Yeah.
I just made a bad choice and rushed into it and decided to just pin it to sex it instead of knocking it
Oh,
out.
so you didn't do the knock? Oh, yeah. Because I think one of the most important parts is when you knock it out, all the muscles. The muscles are completely relaxed. So
Yeah.
just sort of, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a bad choice on my part, and
Honestly, I think a similar thing might be why you remember Azog, my biggest centipede.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have been why she died. I don't think it was old age because her genitalia were after she had a failed egg clutch basically. Like she laid, I think, 2 eggs and then ate them, and ever since then, her genitals were kind of just stuck out, and they were sort of shriveled up and black.
Yeah, that happened to my white leg, but the white leg's now in pre-molt, so if it molts, yeah, it's good then.
Azog molted twice since then, and it stayed that way.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she ended up dying.
This is one I'm hoping to molt sex.
Yeah.
This is a little Ethmostigmus
Trigono, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, this is
Nigerian or
yeah. No, this is Cameroon.
Cameroon.
But yeah, they're a very pretty little centipede, completely
Yeah.
different to the rubripedes in terms of temperament.
Yeah, well, rubberpairs are weird because temperament varies locale as well. Like the tiger and tarantula, oh my god, they're crazy. Seems like the Silver Valley, they're I mean, they tend to thrash around a fair bit if you disturb them, but the Silver Valleys don't actually tend to bulk much. They'll normally just stay in one spot and thrash around. Then the Townsville rubberpairs are actually very chilled out centipedes usually. They might be a bit more prone to chewing on you than some other centipedes, but they're generally quite laid back. So it is quite a locale thing when it comes to temperament with rubberpairs.
Yeah, and then the subspecies Spinosus, they're pretty crazy from what I've seen, although
Yeah.
it really depends on the animal with those as well.
Yeah. I can't really give any input on those.
From what I've heard, the venom actually varies so much in Dahani locales. I've heard the giant louse locale has the worst venom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that in the Thailand one says.
And the Thai variants also have really bad.
Yeah, so I wonder what the Java ones must be. The Java ones seem enormous.
Oh yeah, the Java blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one guy. He had one that was 32 centimeters.
I saw it. Yeah, I've seen a pic of a 32 centimeter Dehani, but it didn't look like a Javan. It looked like a Laos one or something.
Yeah, the louse also regularly get 27, 28 centimeters.
Yeah. So, yeah. As for rubberpairs, I don't know if the venom potency variation thing exists with them as well, which is why the centipede I'm getting bitten by, I've narrowed it down to all 3 of the centipedes I've narrowed it down to. They're all tigers because I've been bitten by that form. I know what it's like.
Yeah. I would really love to do some more bite report stuff, but purposely bite reports, because all the bite reports I've done in the past were accidents.
Yeah.
And I think it's just interesting, I don't know why I didn't, but I got bitten by OBT. But I never did a bite report on it. I don't know why.
Well, how'd that compare to the centipedes?
It was less than Dahani, but pretty close to Dahani.
Oh, yeah.
And it also got me in a really unconventional place, right on the top of my hand.
Oh, yeah. Both of my, because I've taken a ton of dry bites off centipedes, but both of my proper envenomations from rubberpairs were on the tip of the finger, just above the nail. And yeah, so that was kind of nasty.
Yeah. I think it got me right on the vein that goes down my hand, which I don't think helped.
For my bite I'll be filming, I'm planning on doing it on the forearm, sort of Coda Peterson style, except without the drama. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think forearm is a good spot because it's a lot of muscle. So
Yeah, well, not in my case, skin and bone for me. But
I mean, even then, it's a large area, so you can have a nice surface to like see it.
yeah, that's probably why Cody Peterson does it there as well. Speaking of Cody Peterson, I felt like I presume have you seen my response video to his? Because it's the first time I did a commentary video on one of Cody's uploads.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, I don't know. My take on him, even though I said in the video that I like him, I still to this day can't even decide whether I like him or not.
He's a
It's
drama.
like, it's some of his videos are. If I'm watching a video of his that's about an animal that's not something he's scared of, I think it's generally quite good. But if it's an animal he has a personal fear of, he really hypes it up.
Yeah.
Like I think in his most recent centipede video, we said that if you see one, go in the other direction or something. You know, that's an appropriate reaction to a charging rhino, not to a centipede.
Yeah, I mean, I remember his Scolopendra bite video.
Yeah.
Like, I've been bitten by that species, right? Holy crap, he acted like he just got bit by a subspinnipes. Like, oh my God, he like collapsed to the floor screaming.
I know, I saw it. He was in a fetal position. He was hunched up. He was basically crying at some point.
It was ridiculous. Like, I've been bitten by that species. Like, it's like another person's on my door. It's like no worse than a polymorpha or something like that. Like, it's so weak. Like, I got bit. I was just like, oh, okay. It like tingled a bit, got a little bit red, and then it went away, you know?
Yeah. I know of, there's another guy, I think his name's Wyatt. You probably know Wyatt Mendez, who keeps a whole lot of Scolopendra heros. He's taken some pretty bad bites from heros, but he still thinks Cody was acting.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then,
I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. I also have like a pretty high pain tolerance, so maybe that's it. But
yeah, I don't think my pain tolerance is crazy. I'm not even sure if it's tolerance or just more of a, if it's not something dangerous, why even make a big deal about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just gotten hurt so much. I just like don't even care at this point.
Yeah.
And then there was also, I think, Michael Amistry.
He was the one who got me into handling centipedes. I'm not sure if getting me into handling centipedes was a good thing or a bad thing, but
that's the guy.
Centipede Whisperer on Instagram, his name is, or the Pure Life, I think the name.
The Pure Life, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see his video where he got bitten by
the Ryu?
The Ryu giant. Yeah, I think that's actually just a Scolopendra species tiger.
Yeah,
I think that people just nickname it the Malaysian tiger or something these days. I don't.
Yeah, I think the Malaysian tiger.
Successful meetings lately as well.
But dude, I talked to one of his good friends. I don't know if you know him on Facebook, David M. Gray.
I sort of know of him. So,
yeah.
I haven't really interacted much.
So I'm kind of friends with him. I talked to him a little bit about that bite that he took from that centipede, and he said like it was like horrible, like worse.
I saw his video. We could barely talk.
Worse than Dahani. Like he was just like vomiting, extremely sick. He said like he almost died. Like
coming from him, a guy who's going to shrug off most other centipede bites. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen him at like expos? He just like took a Dahani, got bitten.
I saw that video. Just Dahani to the finger.
Just shrugged it off like it was nothing. And then to have such a reaction to such a centipede, like those pedes scare me.
I'm not even. I mean, I love centipedes, but if someone offered me to keep one of those, I'm not quite sure I'd take it.
Like,
I would take it, but I wouldn't like
have
that's like
sure. It'd be
1 meters tall.
It'd be 100% a hands-off centipede for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
most of my centipedes are in enclosures that they could climb out of if they wanted to. But I'm just being ready and stuff. I don't really have issues.
Yeah.
If I kept one of those, I would make sure I would keep it in a very tall enclosure.
I would use like a snake hook to feed it,
Yeah, any centipede that makes Michael react like that is something that deserves a lot of respect.
From what I'm reading, those have worse venom than subspinnipeds.
And I think aren't subspinnipeds less venomous than Dahani?
No, so it's like I would say like the top.
People get bitten by subspinnipeds all the time in Hawaii.
I
Yeah.
think it's really also another locale thing. Like
Yeah.
Hawaii probably isn't that bad because
Mm.
it's more of sort of a new world centipede now. But like, we don't know how bad it is with something like the piece of lava or
Yeah, is that Subspinnipes or is that?
That is
like
Subspinnipes, yeah.
this is subspinnipes. Well, it's labeled as subspinnipes. You can see it in the terminal legs, but the rest of the body is off.
The centipede taxonomy really is a mess.
He doesn't have the head of a Subspinnipes, which kind of confused me.
Yeah, but they seem
very
Subspinnipes seem like they're a bit more lightly built. The piece of flava or whatever they're called seem to be more bulky.
yeah, but the terminal legs is just like screams. So Subspinnipes, but
yeah, and then and then I don't know how much morphological variation accounts for within a species because rubberized have a lot of. I'm not just talking about color, but you probably see in mine the body proportions vary a lot.
I know the main thing on how to identify is terminal spines on the terminal leg.
That's when I was sexing it.
Yeah, and supposedly with the terminal spine, sometimes the spines can also vary intraspecifically as well, like within individuals of the same species.
Yeah.
So it's all very confusing.
Very confusing, yeah.
For me, when venom potency is just Asian equals no. Don't quote that one out of context. It sounds racist as heck. But yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. For me, like how I would rate like the 3 most venomous centipedes in the world, like in my opinion, it's like Malaysian tiger, Subspinnipes, Dahani.
What about Hainanum and Hardwicki?
Oh, well, Hardwicki, from what I'm hearing, they're not that bad. I've worked with a Hardwicki. I've never been bitten by one, but they're like a little bit less than Dahani. Hainanum, we kind of forgot about that one, but I would say I know a guy who's been bitten by Dahani and Hainanum. Hainanum is worse.
Yeah.
And then Malaysian, and from what I've heard from some people that have been bitten by some of the jewels, they quote it on level with Dahani or Subspinnipes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
just the Malaysian jewels and just that coloration alone is enough to tell me don't touch.
Yeah.
I really would be interesting in finding a bite report on Scolopendra paradoxa.
Oh yeah, the one with the real bright blue legs that's kind of aquatic, sort of that one.
Yeah.
From the
no. So Scolopendra paradoxa is not aquatic. They're like related.
Oh, wait, that's singular. Wait.
The one you're talking about is from Japan, right? It's
no. There is another. There's
Scolopendra paradoxa is also semi-aquatic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I did not. My bad.
Mm-hmm. They both got bright blue legs, and I think some paradoxa have orange stripes as well.
Orange stripes. They also have like turgite pattern.
Yeah.
The one aquatic species I'm thinking about, these are like also semi-aquatic, are Scolopendra alcayona.
Like that's a Japanese one, and then there's also Cataracta, which is like from last.
Cataracta, yeah, and then then you start getting into like the arboreal centipedes, like Scolopendra.
Subcrystalis is an arboreal one, I think.
Subcrystalis, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
Honestly, I think a lot of centipedes are semi-arboreal. Like even in Australia, there's a lot of pictures of rubberipes sitting on tree trunks.
Yeah,
and I've noticed even with my rubberipes, when I put a piece of bark in there, they always sit on the bark. I barely ever see them sitting on the substrate. They're always on the bark.
Yeah, mine also do that. But with Subcrystalis, like you really find them like up in the trees, like
real high,
like up.
Oh, real high, yeah. Then most centipedes are probably more generalistic in terms of their lifestyle, so Subcrystalis might be a bit of an exception there.
Yeah, I've also heard that the Scolopendra species Malaysian
tiger
is also semi-arboreal.
Pretty much every picture I've seen of did you say arboreal or?
Yeah, from what I've heard, they're also semi-arboreal.
Yeah,
nearly every picture I've seen of those in the wild is when they're on a tree.
Yeah,
like the first person that paired them, someone in Malaysia, had, rather than how you'd normally pair a centipede with like terrestrial hides, they had them going vertically.
Oh, really? Yeah. I saw in the Facebook group. I saw it was a pairing, but they mated on a vertical surface, but I didn't see any hides.
But actually, the guy who did that is Lee Chia Hao, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, I know him.
And he's
I have respect for his breeding, but in terms of personality, I think he's a bit of a prick. But,
he's a big prick. But For some fucking reason, he is a peed god. Holy crap. I mean, the guy's bred True Gigantea, White Leg, Galapagos, Malaysian Tiger, Birupi Cimaroxagorum, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
all
the
right.
guy, like, I don't know how he does it. He breeds everything.
Honestly, I think that when it comes to centipedes, because I don't think pairing and all that is that difficult. I think
mean,
when it comes to centipedes, the hardest thing is making sure you have a male and female.
Yeah, but for
And
some,
especially when it comes to the South American giants, which in most cases, cost a literal arm and a leg to buy. It's kind of, you know.
This guy, I mean, he has like over 30 Hardwick eye, and he's breeding them. Like, he has bred like multiple Hardwick eye.
I remember there was some guy in Europe that did that a while
yeah,
ago.
Jonas Short.
No, some
Yeah.
other guy. It was another guy from Belgium.
Bradley Doak.
Maybe.
I
But
know Jonas Short.
Jonas. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I think Jonas Scrot.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not pronouncing the name right.
Wait, I'll show you. He actually successfully bred them.
And then, because I remember Andrew Buchan has it's captive bred as well.
Yeah, he's got captive bred Hardwick as well. So.
Wait a minute. This guy.
Oh yeah. He's the one.
I got my Scolopendra cingulata off him.
Yeah, he's in.
I think
Luckily, at least in Australia, I don't have the big obstacle of centipedes are cheap here. Like wild caught captive bred, no matter what, they're cheap. I don't think of a, even if they're adult, you're paying maybe $35 max for a centipede. But it's my tactic, honestly, with centipedes. I know it's really cheating when it comes to breeding, is to just try and buy gravid females.
Yeah, like
for species that are a first in the hobby. I'm not talking for something like a tiger form rubber pest. I'll be trying to get proper breeding going on. But for forms that are new, I'll just when I'm going through, because collectors are going to send you pictures of what they've got. I'll go for ones that look fat.
Yeah, this one was the fattest one I got. This Scolopendra, Centipedes, but it wasn't cheap, obviously. Well, to my knowledge, it's one of 10 in the UK. It was £160.
This was Jonas's.
Yeah, I remember seeing that post. I think isn't the female paralyzed at that point? It's weird courtship
we can
ritual.
talk about that for a second. How they breed is insane.
That is a brutal courtship ritual.
Yeah, I mean, for the people watching who don't know how it works, the male bites the female. The male bites the female. The female gets paralyzed, right? The female wakes up, and they just breed like every other Scolopendra.
It's almost like it's not like it even. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
But they do it every single time without fail.
Yeah, I would freak if I didn't know that it was a thing that Hardwick always did. I would definitely freak out if I saw that happening.
But I would be so scared to pair the centipedes. Like if I want one, I have to pay like $2,000. Like that's how expensive they are.
And then you'd have to also pay import fees from Malaysia.
Yeah.
I do not envy. I really feel like I'm being an arsehole by rubbing it in your faces here, but that Silver Valley rubber pest is the only one in the hobby, and I paid $25 for it.
Oh my god! Like that's how much Dahani costs for us.
Yeah,
it's why centipedes aren't popular here, and I love it. Yeah.
They aren't even popular here, but we don't have any native Scolopendra or Ethmostigmas.
That is, I suppose that is a big deal. I suppose that is part of it.
But it's also kind of stupid. Like in America, Scolopendra heros, where they're native to,
they're like 100 each or something.
They're like 100 each, and if you want to get like a blotch, they're like $250.
Yeah, and they're not like the prized heros variant, aren't they? Seems to be everyone's favorite.
Yeah, but then you look at like the SA giants, South American giants in the US, they're like 500 each.
Yeah,
But in Europe, they're like 250 to 200 each.
Still a fair price. That's like the same price as an adult tarantula. Oh, that's still more expensive than an adult tarantula in Australia.
God, some of the we can get even with Australian species if we wanted Phlogius crescipes.
Mm.
They're like, yeah, £35 a spiderling, which is expensive for a spider here, but like it's an Australian species, so
Yeah. So
But like, man, I think like Birupi Cimaroxagorum, when I saw that Li Chiao guy breed them, I was so surprised. Like, he got a successful sack off them too, like first person and only person to breed them.
there just seems to be a lot of keepers in Asia who just like have some sort of magic fingers with breeding.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the baromatic pressure.
Pressure, like
That plays a big That plays like a big part in
yeah.
snake breeding and stuff. Like when there's like a storm, like
you're talking about pressure, right? Yeah.
When there's like a storm, you're gonna want to pair your snakes because the baromatic pressure is differentiating, which pushes them to breed. So I think there's something about like the altitude or the pressure in Asia that makes them breed more.
Maybe, that's an interesting hypothesis.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's like you look at other guys. Like, do you know him on Instagram? Like Anis Faye.
Yeah, Anis Faye. He breeds a lot of mantis species.
Yeah, he breeds like Toxidera.
I might have seen his posts. I'm not entirely sure.
He also is on Facebook, but like, man, that guy also has crazy success with mantids.
But also, people like Andrew Chin in the US are also.
Is a Morbid Slayer his username on Instagram?
He has some crazy success. He's successfully paired whiteleg, Galapagos, Solowesi, Dahani, Subspinipes, like so many things.
I think anyone who pairs the South American giants is basically set for money for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
if you're in the US,
one clutch of captive bred, like a single captive bred whiteleg, like captive bred, not from a gravid female, could like easily go for like 10 grand. I mean, like,
it's crazy. Yeah. And then there's the fact I think the South American giants grow really fast as well.
Yeah, in like 2 years they're mature.
Yeah, they don't live that long.
That's always a downside to fast.
They live like 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, my oldest rub-ruppers captive born are about a little under 3 years at this point, and they're still maybe that big.
Jesus.
So, but it's a locale thing as well. I think arid ones are growing slower than the tropical ones.
I feel like Scolopendromorpha in general, or not Scolopendromorpha, but Scolopendrids in general grow faster than other genuses.
I've heard other people say ethmostigmas are slow growers. Maybe it's not just a rub-ruppers thing.
But of course, Dahani is the exception. They take like 8 years to mature.
Really? I think Alternans and Heros are quite slow growers too, apparently.
Alternans are very slow, yeah. They take like easily 9 years.
Alternans are also they have such a slow metabolism as well.
Oh, yeah.
No, because when I used to look at all the online care sheets, everyone was saying centipedes live for 3 to 5 years or something. That seems to be the usual lifespan. And I was confused because my first centipede was a Scolopendra morsitans. I wasn't that experienced with centipedes, of course, my first one. I'd owned that one for maybe 5 or so years, and it was really on it.
I mean, Scolopendra Dahani can easily live 20 years.
Yeah, so I was thinking for ages, surely this centipede's going to die any day now. Because, I thought, 5-year lifespan, it was already adult when I got it. It's got really old. But, it was only then that I realized how inaccurate care she's talking off.
Yeah. And a lot, even just reading care sheets for the Vietnamese giant centipede, it's always labeled as Scolopendra subspinipes.
Oh yeah. Well, if you search Scolopendra subspinipes in Google Images, I think more than half the images that show up are Dahani.
Yeah.
And it's just odd.
Yeah. It's like it was even a recent change. That taxonomic revision happened like 6 years ago or something. 7 years ago.
7.
I think the main problem is a lot of people still import them under the name Scolopendra subspinipes, and they just don't bother to check.
Well, even the Wikipedia image for subspinipes is Dahani.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the Wikipedia image for Gigantea is subspinipes.
Yeah, it was either that or whiteleg.
Wait. I'm gonna search
I
that.
think it's a subspinipes actually on the Wikipedia image.
I'm gonna search it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, South American giants aren't really my thing.
Bro, that's so funny. I search up Scolopendra gigantea. First photo that pops up.
Yeah, that's the Wikipedia. Yeah,
That's the-
subspinipes. Yeah.
Wait, let's look on like the actual wiki. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah, it's the Philippine subspinipes.
It's been that image for years since the first time. Ever since I first took an interest in centipedes, that's been the image for Scolopendra for gigantea.
Yeah. Also, I personally don't see. I get the appeal with South American giants, like they're a massive centipede. But I also prefer the Asian species just because of the colors and the attitude.
Yeah. Or rub has given me enough attitude. I almost feel like I might be a bit intimidated by Asian species. If I,
Gigantea is probably like behind Hardwick Eye, the holy grail of centipedes, I'd say.
Yeah.
They cost like 900 to 1,000 in the US.
Scolopendra paradoxa is up there. Species jewel.
Mhm.
Species jewel, I'd say, is more on level of like Galapagos.
Uh,
You talking about the Malaysian jewel with the
Yeah.
red
yeah.
ones?
People
They're just like more available. Like you do see them like relatively often.
Like, there also seem to be pretty temperature fussy species too. So I think
they are very temperature fussy.
They are like super sensitive. I mean, like your temps drop like 2 degrees.
wow, worse than velvet worms.
Oh yeah, way worse.
Velvet worms are. I mean, you just got to keep. All I've been doing is putting ice packs under their enclosure. I replace them twice a day, and they've been breeding for me quite well.
Jesus, that's a lot of work.
I just, why ice pack? I just mean, something like you put in a school lunchbox or something, and I just change it twice a day.
They're so hard to get here. The velvet worms.
Yeah. Velvet worms are awesome, though. I love them.
I've ever since I found out they lived in Australia, I've been trying to find one in the wild. It took me years. I eventually did find one. It was only a tiny little brown one, and then that was it. I've never seen one in the wild ever again.
Aren't they super rare?
I wouldn't say rare. They're just hard to find because they're very cryptic habits. Often, especially during the day, they tend to go inside rotten logs. You're not just going to see them lifting up logs. Maybe if you're lucky. If you're lucky, they might be under a rock or a log, but most of the times they're actually inside the log.
Right.
But if you know where to, like, there's one collector who he knows where to look and he's able to get them quite regularly. He was the one I got mine off. And I'd say I ordered 6 adults not that long ago, and now I have at least 10 babies as well.
Yeah.
They're not like centipedes that have, they'll have a whole big clutch at one point and then that's it. Velvet worms seem to just sort of have one baby at a time on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
How did they pair?
I'm not sure how they pair in a weird way. It's like the male literally just deposits a blob of sperm anywhere on the female's body and it gets absorbed through the skin.
What?
I don't think mine paired in captivity. They were wild caught, so they're probably already paired. Because I started having babies pretty much. I started noticing babies in the enclosure maybe on the 5th day after getting them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so
You know what the gestation period is on them?
I don't. Honestly, velvet worms aren't exactly a big thing in the hobby, so people don't tend to know much about them. Everyone's kind of just wandering forth, hoping what they're doing works. So far, I'm not having any issues with keeping them. Obviously, because of the temperature thing, I just always got to remind myself to change the ice packs. But apart from that, I don't. They're eating.
So kill those animals. I'd so forget to change those ice packs.
Yeah, no, I don't have to set myself reminders, but once you get into a routine, it just sort of becomes a normal part of the day. It's just, once change it before I go to bed and then change it when I get up in the morning. That's basically it.
Oh.
And,
Yeah, that's easy.
like, I'll show you this. Basically, I got the whole velvet worm set up inside. Like, this is the cool bag. It's like what you put your shopping groceries in to keep them cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's the velvet worm enclosure. And then I just got this ice pack, which is just underneath the enclosure, sort of like a heat mat, but the opposite. And that's pretty much it.
So what temperatures do they need?
I just think it has to be in the low 20s. The low 20s or below. I don't know the exact parameters.
That's like not that hard to do. Like how
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think it's anything crazy hard. It's just something, it's especially now that it's winter in Australia, it's not a huge deal. It's obviously going to be a bit more of a challenge when it's spring, summer, that sort of thing. I was going to give them a spray while I got them out. But yeah, having a much better time with them than last time. I kept velvet worms a couple of years ago, but I didn't even bother with temperature and stuff, and they all ended up dying quite soon.
Okay. Yeah, I've always looked at velvet worms of like these awesome animals, but like I never really thought about like keeping them.
They're so hard to get in Europe as well.
Oh man.
Many species.
In the US, they're like kind of I mean, if you know where to look, you could probably find them.
I think one species has been successfully bred in the US, like Epiperipetus barbadensis. I think it's like a brown one.
I think Bugs in Cyberspace.
That's the one, yeah. Bugs in Cyberspace has them. And yeah. And I think that they seem to be a hardier species than the Australian ones. They don't seem to be as temperature fussy. They're a tropical species.
Yeah, those are the ones you sometimes get here if you can find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're probably originally from the same breeder.
Probably.
I remember there being one import.
Yeah, I mean, they're just an awesome species.
I freaking love velvet worms. Yeah. And Australia actually has the largest number of described velvet worm species of any continent.
How many species are there?
I don't actually know, to be honest. I just know that statistic, but a lot of Australian species actually look quite similar to each other. They're not quite as diverse as like the South and Central American ones, but still pretty cool.
They're just like a brown, right?
Honestly, most of the Australian ones are like a navy blue sort of color with orange markings.
Okay.
But,
I know the Costa Rican ones are just beautiful.
Oh yeah, like the Mongeperipetus solozana is like a bright orange one.
Yeah, they're awesome, man.
Mm.
But what do you feed? You feed them just bugs, right?
Yeah. I feed them small roaches and crickets, like I would for the younger centipedes.
And how often do they eat?
Maybe I do it twice a week because it's a communal setup, so it's not like it's one in each enclosure. I feed on a particular schedule. I'll just introduce a bunch of feeders in at once, and I'll clean out the leftovers as I see them. So that's
leftovers.
They are pretty messy eaters, so I'm got to be a bit diligent with cleaning up after them for sure.
Clean up the corpses.
Yeah, the leftovers, the remains.
Yeah.
Oh god, I was quoted Lee Mack there. So I'll see if I can find some. There's a really cool, like just a random morph of an well, here's another Australian velvet worm species. I think it's from central Queensland. It's got a nice gradient that starts out blue at the front and then just becomes progressively more orange towards the back.
That's cool. They're so cute.
They are. To think that something like, this is the species I keep. Not my photo, but that's like the navy blue color.
Wow.
Sometimes there's also orange. This one's plain, but between individuals it varies. They'll have orange dots that sometimes just evenly, randomly peppered across the body. Sometimes they're forming distinctive blotches. It's yeah. The cutest thing is when you see them all snuggled up together like that.
Oh, they're so cute. It's so funny. And then they just like spit this.
Yeah,
shit.
and then when you find out that they're actually pretty formidable predators, like, they're taking down funnel web spiders apparently.
Yeah, it's quite intimidating, but makes them even cooler.
You get a shot, yeah. To think that something so cute and harmless to people is able to do that, it is a shock.
So, like, what actually is their hunting? I know they like spit this Is it like
Yeah,
fruit?
basically they. Again, it's not like I've observed them hunting in the wild, so I can't really speak too much about it. But you see their feet; they're so soft and like they can move around pretty much without being detected by anything vibration-wise. Which is why things like frontal web spiders are so vulnerable to them because they rely entirely on vibration to get around. Something like a velvet worm can walk right across its web's trip lines without being detected. And then when they get within range, that slime fires out. And in real time, it comes out so fast you don't even see it. It's just one moment it's there, one moment it's not there, next moment it's there. They're actually, I think in my most recent YouTube upload is a feeding compilation. The velvet worms are right at the end. You can see them fry the slime on a cricket.
And then do they just like eat them like a centipede would, just like munching on them?
No, it's more like they suck out the fluids, sort of more like a spider does.
Do they have fangs then?
They have small mouth. They're kind of like fangs. They're not like those big forcepules on a centipede, but they're just they cut a hole into the exoskeleton or whatever, and then they just start sucking out the fluids.
Okay.
It's why they're such messy eaters, because they don't eat the exoskeleton; they just leave that lying around.
I would love to keep them.
They are interesting. They are definitely very cool pets. Not super interactive because I don't like to touch them because they've got pretty thin skin, kind of fragile. But just watching them is amazing.
Could they harm you?
They're harmless to people, completely harmless.
Okay.
So
that makes them even funnier because they're just like this little deadly killer that looks like a little plushie that can't do anything to us.
Yeah, no, it's irony. They really are just the cutest thing. So it's because a lot of people get creeped out by centipedes, guys, because they have a lot of legs. But velvet worms, I think I've only seen 1 or 2 people who think they're creepy.
Really?
Yeah.
Those people are crazy.
I don't know. There's just nothing creepy about that thing.
I know. They're just like, it's like I don't even know. It's some alien, cute, fuzzy alien.
It is, yeah. It's too cute for this world.
Yeah.
I was certain that when I first saw them on a documentary, I was certain that it'd be a herbivore until I saw it hunting.
Yeah, right. They look like the best, worst herbivores ever.
Yeah, it is a sin that they were not in any Pixar movie, like in A Bug's Life or something. A velvet worm would fit right in.
Oh, it's so true. Or like,
an animated
have you seen the movie with the ants where like the guy turns into an ant and shit?
Ant Bully, was that the one?
I have no clue. It's like some cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah. Imagine just like a velvet worm comes in and just like starts spitting all this shit out. All the
yeah. Oh, no, so
like I remember like the villain in the thing was like exterminator.
It was a pest exterminator. That was right.
Yeah. Instead of like an exterminator, they could have a little velvet worm coming around like an army
not the most intimidating bad guy, but it works for a children's show, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Cody Peterson's video on the velvet worm was one of the few of his videos that I genuinely quite enjoyed.
Yeah, those are so cute, those South American ones.
Yeah. I didn't really like the whole ultra rare thing because there's a difference between endangered. There's a difference between actually endangered and just not commonly encountered.
Yeah.
Something I've always wondered about is the demand for Lepidoptera in Australia. Is that a thing? Because here they're pretty popular. These are Daphnis.
Yeah. Well, I don't know many people who keep lepidopterans in Australia, but then that'd be a different community to my invert. So, I'm just probably not in the same group.
I like them.
Yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah, when it comes to like the insect stuff, I've only recently started to really get invested in, like I said, katydids, and now stick insects as well. Actually, I can show you one of those. I got some new stick insects. But I've got a YouTube video that I've already filmed and I uploaded, but it's scheduled because I like to spread out my videos. It's a new species of stick insect, actually quite a rare species. not many people keep them
It's like,
in Australia because they have a pretty specialized feeding requirement.
what do they eat?
Let me just. They're only nymphs. They will get actually quite a lot bigger than this. But I'll grab one for you. One. Come on. There we go. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, so this is Megacrania batesii.
Oh, that thing's awesome.
Yeah.
Blue, yeah, get in the camera. Turquoise color.
Wow.
Yeah.
So called a peppermint stick insect because they actually have a very unique chemical defense. They spray this fluid that smells just like peppermint.
Dude, that thing's awesome.
Yeah. They get about maybe 15 centimeters long as well, so they're a good sized stick insect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 of them. I think 3 females, 2 males.
So what do they eat?
They eat this tree called the pandanus. That's the only thing they eat. From with pandanus is it's easy enough to find around where I live, but they are spiky. I do not like harvesting the leaves.
So kind of like bramble.
Yeah, but worse.
It's more like the leaves are very long and thin, and they're just jagged along the edge.
Okay. Let's get some welding gloves and go in there.
It's more what's more annoying is actually getting them out of my backpack because the thorns on the edge just kind of snag along it. So I kind of just have to rip them out.
How often do you have to collect them?
So far, I've only had to do it once because the insects are quite small. There's only 5 of them in there, and pandanus have pretty big leaves.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm going to have to replace it very often, but I'll probably have to do it more as they grow. But yeah, so very cool. And actually, in the bit of a spoiler for the unboxing video, 2 of them sort of got into what looked like a bit of a wrestling match while I was handling them. It was quite an amusing thing to see.
Those are awesome, man. They're so.
They are, yeah.
They kind of remind me of Ben? You'll know this when you're a Phasmid guy. What's the blue one we have here, Ben?
We got a few blue ones. Oh,
a Minax, something Minax, or
it was a Phalax. It was something Phalax, but I can't remember the new name.
a Phalax. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
And then there's also Romulus nematodes blue, which is a super skinny species.
A Phalax are awesome.
Yeah. But they are all very cool species, all the phasmids.
Oh, yeah.
They're all cool, except for. Okay, I don't know enough Phasmid species to diss one, but
I mean, yeah, some are cooler than others, but they're all very cool things to keep.
Sorry, I'm not really talking. I'm just getting some footage. I haven't actually posted about them on my Instagram yet, so I'm just going to get a short video while I got this one.
no problem. Oh.
If you're in
Pretty
Europe,
soon, I have to go because I have to do some things today.
yeah, I
We
think
can
I
go.
do. But if you want a really cool blue phasmid, that's not like a proper blue, like dark blue. Definitely the lichen form Extatosoma.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm glad I'm getting back into phasmids because they were my first inverts. They were the ones that really got me into it. I was in grade 1 actually. I got myself some Extatosoma tiratum, and grade 2, and very conveniently, actually, one of our units in school then we were learning about insects, and we did some sort of. We all had to do some sort of project where we do a homemade poster of a particular insect that we chose, and I chose Extatosoma, and I brought mine live ones in as well, and all the kids just wanted. It was great. Ironically, one person in my class chose a centipede, and I thought, oh my god, who could possibly like those? I was scared of centipedes back then, really scared of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing when I was younger one video on Scolopendra honey, and They were just fascinating. They scared me quite a lot, though. Just the thought of a giant centipede.
Oh yeah, I was scared and I didn't hate centipedes, but I was scared and interested at the same time.
You know what?
I didn't realize people kept them as pets until I saw one in a pet store. And,
I've never ever been scared of centipedes. When I was 9 years old is when I first started keeping them.
I started keeping them at. Oh, got that Scolopendra Morse times, I think in grade 6, 5, 6, one of those. Yeah.
And I remember I was 9 years old. I flipped a rock, found this little Scolopendra polymorpha, and I just like grabbed it.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly why I was scared of centipedes in the first place. I like to draw a lot. I'm really into drawing, and I've been like that since before I can remember. And I used to have a lot of these drawing books that would show you how to draw various animals and stuff. And I flipped to a page on a centipede, and Dad was watching me, and he just sort of says, "Oh, those things can kill you." And then, convenient time, I lived in Cairns back then. It's up in North Queensland. A lot more bugs around than here. And conveniently, I'm not even a week after Dad had told me centipedes could kill me, a centipede came out in the garden and just started running all over the place. It was flushed out by me hosing it, and I was freaked. So it was bad timing. And
I
then,
remember I was with a friend when I found that polymorpha,
yeah,
and I just like grabbed it, and my friend, he was like, "Bro, you're crazy. You know how crazy venomous these things are? Like, holy shit, bro."
these days when you see someone say, it's always but have you watched Brave Wilderness get bitten by one?
You know what? I was so proud of myself because like I pinned it when I grabbed it.
Yeah.
I like pinned it, and
Yeah.
I'm like thinking back on how I pinned it. I had like perfect form, and I'm so proud of my young self.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I have the guts to pin a centipede, especially a rubberipers. They're just thing with. I know I probably really overrate rubberipers to you guys, but they are just formidable beads. So,
The
I've
Unless-
pinned.
the only one
Sorry,
Yeah.
there.
the only one I'd have the guts to pin is Ethnostigmus trichonopodus in my collection, that is. But then again, that centipede is so chill. I don't need to.
you don't need to pin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same. I had a Scolopendra Morstans that I was sort of working with the calm as well, but I messed up a couple times and now it's really nasty. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have experienced that too, but yes, centipedes can
for
learn to get used to you, but it can go the other way as well.
Oh man, yeah. I have I was working with this Scolopendra polymorpha, and like one time I accidentally put pressure on its back.
Mm.
It bit me, and now and not now because I don't have it anymore, but it was the biggest cunt after that.
Spoken like a true Aussie.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that word to come up, and it didn't even come from the Australian.
Yeah.
Well,
All of
yeah.
All of
I
mine.
was still the same with the big tiger form rubberipers I used to handle a lot as well, and then I should have followed the warning. It gave me a dry bite, just a kind of quick pinch, didn't even pierce the skin, but I kept handling it, and it gave me a full blow right to the tip of the finger. And that's currently the worst centipede bite I've taken.
How bad was it? Like, what were your symptoms?
Maybe 2 or 3 hours of feeling like my hand was being jammed in a door, and then a day, then maybe 2 or 3 days of just really uncomfortable swelling and ache. Nothing horrible. But that's why I'm going to film the bite again, because while the pain was bad, at the end of the day, it was over and I wasn't any of the worse off.
My Dahani bite turned purple. My hand. Wait, I'll go. I made a bite report on Facebook. I'll pull it up and I'll show it. I'll show the photos to you.
Oh yeah.
I've only had a few dry bites from some centipedes during ringhouses and stuff. I've had Scolopendra dahani, yellow leg, Ethnostigmus trichonopodus, and that's about it. I just use tongs when interacting in the enclosure.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I am still nervous about the rubberipers bite, because the individual I plan on getting bitten by is significantly bigger than any rubberipers I've been bitten by before.
So this was like this was like little while after I got bitten. That was my thumb.
Oh yeah. So that look too terrible at the moment.
No. Then it went purple.
Yeah, I'd start getting a bit scared at that point, you know.
And this was like a few days later.
At this point, it's gotten better again, I imagine.
Yeah. But this was like the worst of it. It was like really like the photo doesn't even show it justice.
That looks nasty.
Yeah, it was nasty.
I would, if I got a bite like that, I would wear a glove just to hide it from Mum until it got better. If she saw that, all my centipedes had gone.
Yeah, I remember I was feeding my leeches, and my mum walked in, and I was like bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, because leeches create an intimidating amount of bleeding. Well, speaking of leeches, the cruel Australian species someone else just got, Richard Sonianus australis. I like the stripes.
And I was bleeding everywhere. I stuck plasters on there, and it bled through them. It was just unnerving. So, yeah, that was almost the end of. I almost had to rehome them after that.
I had a leech on me on a field trip. It was a uni field trip out to Mount Nebo, and everyone was laughing at me because the leech was in plain sight, and I just acknowledged it. I was like, yeah, why not? I just let it stay on there. But just as we were about to get on the bus, it had its fill and let go. And and I was bleeding all the way home, but that was it.
Yeah, I've never worked with leeches yet, but someday I will.
Yeah, I don't really mind leeches. I mean, a mosquito lands on me, I slap it, but I don't really mind leeches.
I would mind wild leeches because they can carry diseases that will infect you.
Yeah.
But like captive leeches, I couldn't care less. But
there's also the fact that I think captive, you only need to feed them like twice a year or something.
Yeah.
You know, fun fact: leeches can give you STDs if they fed on someone with AIDS or something like that, and you get fed by that same leech, you will get
transmitted disease.
Yeah.
So,
I don't tend to get too worried about that if I get bitten by a leech out in the rainforest or something, because chances it's fed on another person are pretty slim.
Yeah. No, but they can carry like other diseases, but
yeah.
I
think that's why it's always not recommended to pour salt on them or something, because that just causes them to vomit their insides back into you.
Yeah.
So that's Every time I've had a leech attached to me, I just let it stay on and then have its fill and drop off.
Or, I mean, if you want to get them off, you can take like your thumbnail and just like go right over the head.
Yeah.
And just like push it off.
Yeah. Not quite an option especially in the last few years, because we kind of had a bit of a nail biting problem for a while. So
that's actually good, because then you're not going to like damage the leech. I always use the shortest fingernail, and you're just like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if that situation ever comes again, I'll definitely use it. But either that or I'll keep the leech. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but ticks are the vein of my life. I hate them.
I haven't had them on me many times. Maybe 3 or 4 times I've had leeches.
It's so gross. Like when they're on you, like you try to take them off and they just like pull your skin, and then there
was one on a trip out to the Bunya Mountains. Really, really nice place apart from ticks. I was just sort of picking on my forehead. I thought it was a scab because I tend to get scab tick quite often. And I was like, this scab, it's just not coming off. It seemed loose, but it just wouldn't come off. And then I asked Dad to say, Dad, because I suspected maybe it was a tick. So I said, Dad, can I have a look? And it's like, shit. Yeah. And
I know a friend who got a tick on his nether regions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I do not like ticks.
Me neither.
When the first time I got one, I noticed it when I was in the bath, and I cried because I was a little kid, so don't imagine me right now crying because of a tick. But I thought it was because I'd seen on the news all these people getting Lyme disease and stuff about ticks. I thought that was a normal thing for tick bites. I didn't realize that was a kind of a anomaly sort of situation. So,
yeah. This is one of my Haruda Vibana. It's fed recently, so it's really.
So what are they like to keep?
They're super easy. These ones prefer slightly cooler water temperatures, around 16 degrees. But just water change once a week. feed them every 3 or 4 months, and they're super easy.
Interesting. Because I really like the look of the Australian species. Like I showed you, there's Richardsonianus australis.
Oh,
They are,
cool.
yeah.
I like the look of that. Yeah.
These are actually extremely pretty, but the color on these ones is a lot more dulled down. You won't be able to see it on camera.
I've seen pictures of them online. I know they got some pretty intricate patterns.
Yeah.
So, only reason I'm hesitant to buy one is because I've already ordered a bunch of inverts, and I don't like to, shock my family too much with a whole bunch of orders arriving at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got a bunch of new katydids. Then there was a stick insects. I've got a big order of centipedes coming soon as well.
Ooh, what species?
There's a mix, a few different variants of Scolopendra morsitans and Ethmosticus rubrupes. I can show you some photos. Where is he? They all come from a guy in Western Australia. Oh yeah, so there's these ones. They're like a tricolor. They got a really cool alternation in their banding. You got the light.
Oh my god, I'm so I've
white and red bands.
I've seen his.
Oh yeah, they're big too. For morsitans, they're big. They're like 17 centimeters.
How many of those are you getting?
4. The 4 that were in that video, I'm getting those 4. And I'm also getting a juvenile Pilbara Scolopendra morsitans. That's this.
I am so jealous, dude.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah. And also a gravid female Cape Gloucester Ethmostigmus rubrupes. They're an extremely thick-bodied form. I'm just going to try and scroll down and see. Oh, yeah, this is her.
God damn.
Very thick centipede, and she's gravid. So that's for me.
That's awesome. I'll be looking forward to that video.
Yeah. Well, this guy is the only one of the only Australian centipede keepers who genuinely makes me really jealous.
Yeah, I follow him. I didn't even know he was Australian.
Yeah, no, he is. I've gotten peds off him in the past. This is a black-headed rubrupes, one of the biggest rubrupes locales in Australia, and also the only one in the hobby. These are from central Queensland. I live in Queensland, so when I can drive, I can like a long road trip out that way. The black pleural membrane. I just love the pleural membrane on that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, but I do have to go now.
Oh yeah, no, that's all good.
I don't know if Ben has anything, but
I have to go as well.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, it's nearly 9 o'clock now for me, so I better go as well. I haven't.
All right. Well,
thankfully I'm on holidays, so I don't really have any commitments. But yep, that was good.
Thanks for coming on again, man.
Yeah, no, anytime. And stay tuned for that unboxing video and for the bite, which I'm definitely nervous about. But one of my mates is coming with me, and my plan is to just pretty much just chat with him while I'm in pain. So.
Right. If you stay on for just a second, I will link your YouTube channel in the description.
Oh, yeah. No worries. Well, about these streams, I think from memory, you have quite a lot less subscribers than me.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we do one of these, I'll post it on my channel.
Yeah, that's totally, for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Let's see. Ben left. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Guys, check out his YouTube channel. I'm putting it in the comments. Thanks for coming on again, man.
Yeah, no worries. I'll wave to you with my left hand because it might not be functional in a couple of days. So maybe exaggerating a bit there, but we'll see. Yeah.
All right.
All right.